Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before I get into what I'm doing this time around, the comments, the positive comments and everything on the last video that I posted, which was me painting these walls. Thank you very much for those. I think that's the most commented on video I have to date. And yeah, it did really well. So thank you very much for that. I wasn't sure how that was going to go with these very, very bright stripes, but everyone seems to love it. So I'm still getting used to it. But yeah, I like it. I've done a bit since the last video. I've put shelves up on the back wall there. And finally see my jelly bean wheels up there up in the shed. But I've put shelves all the way around. It's still a mess. I'm just throwing, like those are empty boxes, I'm just throwing stuff up everywhere. The timber I've got on top at the moment is the offcuts from the sheets on the walls, so I've got to get some full length timber to span that. Probably paint them, make them look nice. Then I'll put lights underneath for when I'm working under there. It goes right around the corner there. I've got this rack in here. I've got more of those black racks to go over along this wall when I'm for my truck stuff. And I'm going to put a bit of a similar shelf, but where these ones are 800 deep, that's going to be about 1200 plus, like a bit more of a mezzanine floor. So yeah, it is a mess. There is stuff everywhere. It's unorganized. I've still got to do that bench, that shelf / mezzanine, and organize everything up on the top shelves. But I really want to get stuck into this thing. It is ready to go to my mate's place to get the pipes done, but there is one job I have to do, well, I want to do, because some other stuff has come in. I'll explain it as I go. And also, it wasn't clickbait. FAT383, there's no more. I still have those plates. The car is still registered with those plates, but I've got some new ones, and I'll leave those to the end of the video. So let's get into this. So I'm going to try and briefly explain what I'm up to this video with the car. As the car sits now, it is ready to go for fabrication for the headers and the engine bay, all that work. I'm just waiting on that call. If you remember a few videos back, I had the transport department inspectors visit me and witness the VIN number, the chassis number and the engine number. So when I've cut everything out, they've seen the car, everything's cool with them. And when I go to register the car, everything's all on paper from their side, and it should be a straightforward process. That means this engine here, remembering I've got two Godzillas now, I've got one for the truck, which is over behind the camera there, and I've got this engine. So they've recorded this engine number for this car with this VIN number. Right. I'm just waiting on the call for the car to be moved to my friend's house for all the work inside here done. While this has been going on, all the parts from Apocalypse Performance in the States has come in for the engine. So I've got pistons, rods, a very, very nice cam, lifters, balancer, head gaskets. I've had everything's come in for the engine. I will go over that in another video and actually get into the engine, but I've now got those parts, and I've spoken to my friend who's helping me with the engine building. Again, I'll talk about this in a later video, hopefully very soon. He's ready for me to bring the engine down whenever I want, and we'll get stuck into this. So I'm kind of trying to get the engine build and the fabrication work done at the same time. So I've got to pull this engine out and put the F100's Godzilla in its place, so there is an engine there so we can do headers. While the engine is out, I'd like to tidy up a few things under the car, do a bit more welding, change a couple of things, just quick jobs. These jobs, where they are, require me pulling all the front end out of the car, the suspension, the crossmember, everything. Luckily, the way the front end's been designed, it's a straightforward, quick job. I've done it a few times now, it's easy. So, and quick. So this shouldn't take too long to do. So I'm going to get stuck into that straight away and see how I go. Out of the car, that's all sorted. Next up I've got to pull all the suspension out, all the crossmember, steering, all that gear. Shouldn't take too long. I have adjusted the car on the hoist. It's hard to tell on camera, but I've moved the car forward just a little bit on the hoist because I've already taken the weight of the engine out, and now I'm going to take the front end out. I've still got the diff and everything in the back of the car, so just playing it safe, adjusting that. So you may have, like in some of the videos, looking at the crossmember and suspension parts, and when I pull them off they look like they've got a bit of surface rust starting on there, but it's actually they are really good condition considering how long they've been on the car. They are coated in, I know it looks like an ad, inox, lanolin anti-corrosion lubricant. There are other brands, Easy Foss, and a few other ones that are fantastic. This is just from Bunnings. It's if you've got bare metal, you spray this on it. It's the same as in machine shops where you spray down all the beds on machines, lathes, that sort of thing, and it just prevents surface rust from building up. And when I'm doing something like this and it's taking this long, it's fantastic. It just keeps everything nice. Fun fact about myself, I skipped, I think it was about 3 weeks in high school English class because we had to do speeches, and I really dislike public speaking. I think most people do, but you're probably picking that up in my videos. I'm still a little bit awkward. I have recently changed my role at work. I'm in now more of a leadership role, and I know there's a couple of guys at work that are watching this, and they'll be having a bit of a laugh about that. But occasionally one of the things I have to do is, well, pretty much every day I have to do a meeting in front of 15 people, and then once a week, if I'm lucky, I get to do a bit of a meeting with up to about 50 people. I get to stand in front of a quiet room and have a chat about the week that was. But I work with a really good bunch of people, so that does make it a lot easier. But I am trying to be a little bit less awkward on camera. I'll stick to just pulling cars apart, I think. I just love looking at these every time I pull them out. After a few days away, I've back in the car, been welding and grinding, you can probably tell. Under here doing all the bottoms of the rails, all the bits that I'd left that I talked about earlier, I've gone through those, I've welded those up, everything's cleaned up. These joints under here, that's all sorted. I've gone over it with the 120 sanding disc on the orbital, give it that nice finish. It's not perfect, but it's a lot nicer than leaving all the grind marks on there. Now I'm going to concentrate on this crossmember here. The underside of it, you can see it's a mess. So the factory caster rods that came from back here across to the front each side, when I removed those were a bit bent, and I've twisted this a little bit under the side here. It's quite thin, and it's got lots of cut marks and everything where I removed everything. So I'm going to just take out this bit here that I've cleaned up. It's somewhere between 1.5 and 2 mil factory, closer to 1.5. I've got some 3 mil that I'm going to put in there and make that a little bit stronger. And then once I've done that, this piece up here, I don't know if you can really tell, it's sort of pushed in at the bottom. It's a bit bowed, so I'll do this piece first. Then I'll tie this and clean up this lip. But before I cut that out, I'm going to bolt the crossmember back in to add a bit of bracing to the rails. I don't think that would affect anything, but I'm just worried about a bit of movement. So I'll do that now. I'll get the crossmember back in. I'll take the steering rack out, put the crossmember back in, and then I can start cutting that. It looks a bit of a mess at the moment where I started stripping the paint back with the sanding disc. I had 2 riv nuts here and 2 riv nuts here, 2 large ones, where I had the intercooler pipe coming across on the water to air intercooler. And up on top I had a couple of very large holes up here that I filled, that where I had the very, very large, my last air-to-air intercooler on the front, the big Johnny Tig 4-inch thick one. So I've made this piece to fit in here. When I put my camera down, I'll set that up properly. And I've had a bit of a crack at straightening this panel here. So I'll put this in the right place and quickly get that welded in, cleaned up, and then I'll just clean the whole lot up and make it look nice. That's the finished repair under there. That's the what came out of there. So when the spot welds, the factory spot welds, were removed from those big caster brackets, all the slicing and the dents and everything. And now we've got a nice fresh piece in there. It's looking not too bad. I'm glad that's finally done. I've been wanting to clean up the back side of that Crossmember for as long as I've had the car. It's always been a bit of a mess and a bit of an eyesore. So yeah, that's all done. That's all boxed in. I'm quite happy with that, how that came out. There's still a little bit of work to do around the edges there, but when we do the what's left of the radiator support panel, when that gets boxed in and tied up in the radiator, put in place, then that'll be finalised. But the crossmember itself, that's sort of something else that needs to be done now is the top of the radiator support panel here, this cross piece. So the back side of this, the top part of the radiator support panel, that's it's pretty horrific. These pieces here that were put in hurriedly a while ago, they're actually the front section of another radiator support panel that were cut, turned around and put on opposite sides, but they're all bent. They've had lots of holes drilled in them for other radiator brackets and that, and yeah, it looks like trash. So I'm going to try and do exactly the same as what I did across the bottom here. Cut all this out and box that in, the whole thing. These bits here I'll do later, but for now I'm going to concentrate on fixing that, filling all that in, and assorted unnecessary holes along the top edge. I've had to put the microphone on. Got a bit of heavy rain at the moment, and the roof, it's not very well insulated for noise. So, but, the no more FAT383 thing in the video title, that is actually a thing. It's not clickbait. Most of you guys know this thing's had FAT383 number plates for pretty much the whole time it's been on the road. That was a name a mate came up with many years ago, I think about 14 odd years ago, and it's had that on ever since. I do love it, but there's a number plate that I've been wanting for a very long time, and it's always been taken. So every 6 months, or when I remember, I just check the SA number plate site, Easy Ridge, and just type it in and see if it's actually available. And a month or two ago I was at work randomly on Smoko, and I thought I'd just check. I was looking at something online, something popped into my head about number plates, and I thought I want to see if the one that I want is available. So the new name for the coupe, heavy metal. While I am a fan of the genre of music, that's not why I've got this on my car. Some of you may remember this drawing from many, many years ago. It was in a couple of magazines, and then it was on shirts. And this is a magnet off my toolbox that I've had since 2005. I think I've had this on my snap-on toolbox. That's where the heavy metal comes from. Heavy metal Fords. I've got the t-shirt of this as well somewhere stashed away, that I've never been able to fit. They're too big for me. But that's where the heavy metal comes from. Large, heavy, full steel car. So yeah, I'm stoked for those. I'm very, very happy with them. So yeah, I've wanted them for a very long time, and they've come up, and I've snapped them up. So they've got my name on them. Until I register the car, this is still technically FAT383, but as soon as the registration process goes through after engineering and the car is all checked and everything, I can then put these plates on this car properly. Till then, on one of my other cars. So, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'll cut this video off here, guys. I don't want to drag it out too long. There's a few fiddly bits, and it's just going to drag out a bit. So next video, I'll finish the top of the radio support panel and clean up the top of those rails there, make that a little bit nicer. A few other small jobs on the coupe, and then I'll look at this thing. Thanks again for all the comments on the previous videos, and thank you to all the new people that have joined in. 3,000 subscribers is still that's a huge thing for me, so thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys, and stick around and we'll see where this goes. Thanks, guys.